SDK is fetching a real bug which is on the Flask repo, which is a bug ID is 6093, and it is fetching the details. It is going through the code base and it is able to suggest a fix. So yeah, today we are going to see how to use Copilot SDK to automate your work. And today we will try to understand what exactly is Copilot SDK so that you will be in a better position to use it in your advantage. So yeah, let's see what exactly is Copilot SDK. So I think most of you might be familiar with the VS Code Copilot chat, and let's see how it looks like if you have been using it. So suppose we ask a question here, what is 2 plus 2? So currently, if you see, I'm on the free plan, so I only have access to the auto model. So let's see what it is answering. So if you see Copilot SDK, or like Copilot agent, is basically like an agentic platform, and it uses it has some inbuilt tools which it uses to gives answer if required. So if you have see, it has answered correctly, 2 plus 2 equals to 4, and for that it has used this model by MAI. The model name is MAI code 1 flash. So yeah, as we are on auto plan, so depending upon the load that they are having at their side, they are assigning us a model, and basically this model was used to give this answer. So let's see how Copilot SDK is related to Copilot chat. I've created one diagram for it. So there is one engine called Copilot agent engine, uh, which was called when we used this Copilot chat. So basically there are three ways to access this Copilot agent engine. One way is through VS Copilot chat, which we have just used here. One way is Copilot CLI, which we can access from the terminal here if we type Copilot. Maybe I will show you that in the end, but yeah, it's not important here to understand. So yeah, and one way is the Python way, which is our Copilot SDK that we are going to see in this tutorial. So yeah, so there are three ways to access Copilot agent engine. The one way we have used which is Copilot chat. Let's see how to access the agent engine using a Python code, which is Copilot SDK. So I will push this code to my repo, and I will share that in the description so you can check it and run it on your machine. So basically this is the code to start a client session. I have my GitHub Copilot token like already configured. If you want to see how to configure it, maybe quickly I can show you how to do that. So to generate a token, you can go to your settings, then developer settings, and then personal access token, and then fine grain token. I have already created a token here for myself, which is a demo token, which I am using in this tutorial. You can click on generate new token, and then you can enter your name, token name. Suppose I have written XYZ, and I've chosen 7 days, public repository, and then permission you can add here Copilot requests, and you can click on generate token. So it will ask you for confirmation, and it will generate some token. You can copy it and paste it in your env file, but yeah, as we are not going to use this token, I will just simply delete it because I have already created a token. So yeah, this is how you create a Copilot token, which basically you can use it. What happened to this? Okay, I tried to understand, delete this token. Okay, I'll deal with it later. So yeah, after you have generated the token, you can update the .env file, which will be shared. And yeah, let's try to create a client session. So if you can see, the client has been started, and yeah, it's always a good practice to see what models you have access to. So suppose if we click here, Mostly I will get auto, because as I am on free plan, only auto is access for me. But yeah, if you have a paid subscription, like a bunch of models will come here, 10 to 12 models, which will include Claude, GPT, and other models, which is like accessible in your plan. And let's move forward. So let's try to do one hello world example where I will ask the auto model that we are selecting, and will ask it to say which model it is. So let's see. So yeah, hello, I'm powered by GPT-5 Mini. And yeah, so basically when we use auto mode, automatically a model called GPT-5 Mini is assigned to us. Let's check our Copilot chat now. So let's see the session. So basically the session that we have created through chat, right? If you can see here, that exact session we can uh, open and see it from here. And like this is like a very important thing. If you understand this, you will be able to use this Copilot SDK in multiple ways, so that, because you have been already using this chat interface, right, and you know what, how you ask question to this chat interface. So basically you can uh, codify your solution approach using Copilot SDK. So yeah, so if you can see here, we have asked this question, say hello and tell me what model you are. In the exact same session, we are able to see here, say hello and tell me what model you are, and it is answered. It is GPT-5 Mini. So yeah, let's move forward. So in this step, what we are going to see is like if we ask the question in the same session, the Copilot SDK agent, Copilot agent engine will remember what was your last question, and it will uh, save that as a memory. So for example, in the same session that we have created here, we will ask what is 12 into 8. Let's run this cell. So as you can see here, it is correctly answered, 12 into 8 is 96. And then what we will ask, now divide that by 4. So remember, we are now not telling it to divide 96 by 4. We are just telling divide that by 4. That means if this works out, it will remember what was our last query. Let's wait. Yeah. So if you can see, 96 divided by 4 is 24. That means even if we have not specified divide 96 by 4, it remembered that our last answer was 96, and we are telling the model to divide 96 by 4. And similar thing we can see here also. So suppose I will open this again. See, this was our first question, say hello and tell me what model you are. And then we asked it what is 12 into 8, and then it answered like this. Now divide that by 4, and it is correctly answered 96 divided by 4. So what we get to learn from here is, if you ask the question in the same session, it will remember what was your previous session, like how we do in VS Code chat, right? So yeah, it remembers the session. And this is an optional step which you can do. So if you have access to your company Jira account, or wherever you are working, you can just in the env file you can just mention the Jira base URL, and you can mention your Jira API token, and then you can register a tool which can access some Jira issue. So here in this example, what it is doing is, it is connecting to the Jira using this credentials that you would provide in the env, and it will get to that Jira, and it will basically summarize what is the exact issue. So yeah, so this is an example to check how you can register your custom tools into Copilot SDK. So as you can see, this is like a fake Jira ID, so of course it was not able to fetch it and it failed. But yeah, if you entered your company Jira ID, Jira base, as well as Jira API token, and if you have entered the correct Jira ID here, this would be able to fetch the correct data. But yeah, for us it is not configured correctly, so yeah, it has a different thing. So yeah, so this is the example that will tell you what Copilot SDK can do. So what we are doing here is we are cloning the Flask repository, which is a public repository. Okay, let's open Flask directly here. Yeah. So what we are doing is we are opening this Flask repository, and if you can see, there are like two issues here. One issue ID is 6093 and one is 6065. So through this Copilot SDK, what we are trying to do is we are just cloning this repo, and we are automating the process of like suggesting fix for this issue. So we'll see what Copilot SDK does basically to try to solve that issue. So yeah, let's run this. So we have cloned that Flask repo in our local PC, and then basically this is like a helper code, not a helper, it is basically a logging code, so that we can see what exactly Copilot agent engine is doing. Okay, so we have created a new session here, create a session. So see, we have created this session, and now we will try to we'll come to this diagram later. Let's see what happens when we try to run that. So if you see here, we have mentioned this issue ID 6093 that we have seen here, 6093, and then it has pulled what is the exact issue reported, and based on that we have created a prompt. If you see investigate, we have added this issue title in the prompt and issue body, and we have written investigate the code base to understand what this issue is asking for, identify the specific files and functions where this change would need to happen, and explain your reasoning. You don't need to write the code, just locate and explain where the change belongs to and why. So we would run this, and what this would do is based on this issue title and issue body, it will search for the Flask repo that we have cloned. So if you want to see the repo, right, this is the Flask repo that has been cloned locally. Now what Copilot SDK will do is based upon the issue description, it will navigate through all these files that are available in Flask, and it will suggest a fix. So it has, if you can see, it has already started doing its job. First, like it is using an internal tool called grep and creating some patterns so that it can search through files, and it is basically creating a context for itself. So it is not having its local embedding model, it is not using anything, it is just using a tool grep and glob search to identify where exactly the issue could be. So these are the events that it is generating. So see, it is again doing grep and grep in report mode. It is viewing the file, and this view range, I think it's the line number, it is going through the 560 line to 760 line. See, it has created a context for itself by running the tool, and at the end it has suggested a fix, what is the exact issue. And if we go here in the chat, right, we should be able to see that section. So if you see here, yeah, we can see the entire thing that we have done. So see, this is there's an open GitHub issue in this repo. The title, this is what we have fetched from GitHub issues, right? And then this, and then this is our prompt, investigate the code base to understand what the issue is. And same thing we can see here, investigate the code base to understand what this issue is. So and this we send to Copilot, and then you can see here what exactly it did. It is searched for file matching partition. See, So it has read through all these files and built its context, and then at the end, after building the context, it was able to answer exactly where is the issue and suggest a fix. So let's come to this diagram again. So what exactly happened? So here the issue ID is wrong actually. So it was my previous demo. So here for us it will be different. So we have written this prompt and then we have sent it to Copilot agent engine. And then the agent engine has generated some plans basically like what to search for based on the issue. And this is the loop that it has created. So first grep and then it was reading file and then it was reasoning, and if this context was not enough, it went into this loop again and again, like we see here, right? There are multiple grep commands as well as view, right? So until it was confident that it has gathered all the context, this entire loop was running again and again, and at the end it has given us this answer. So yeah, so basically this was it. And yeah, so imagine like in how many ways you can use this. So I think most of you would be using such interface to uh, do your day-to-day job at office, right? Like solve issues, go through the Jira, understand what exactly is the issue, ask Copilot to check if it is to fix the issue, and then you monitor it if it is correct or not. So that entire cycle basically you can try. If it is a repetitive thing, that entire cycle basically you can automate using Copilot SDK. You can connect Jira, you can uh, browse through the code. If you want, you can add connect it to an embedding model, host local embedding model, yeah, based upon your use case. So that is it. I will post this code on my Git and I will share this with you. And yeah, if you have any questions, do mention in comments. I'll help you to get it resolved. Yeah.